Hey everybody, here we are back at Maxs Garaj Mahal. We just got back from the GIE-EXPO in Louisville, Kentucky. Met a lot of great people there. Can't name them all, can't name a tenth of, probably couldn't name 100th of them. A lot of great people. We owe Salt Dog. And by the way, anytime you mention Salt Dog, you really ought to get this in here just one more time. Came back a little of their swag here. And we got a few caps here. Looks like we got several of them in pink. And we got black. And we may do some sort of giveaway. Met a fellow named Lawn Crack, YouTuber. Ryan? Don't know how to pronounce your last name. I apologize. I'm lying, I do, but I'm going to get around here and we'll come back to this, probably edit. Anyway, we got a few things we're going to do some testing on. Walbro. Walbro is an old company, great company, carburetor company, and most everyone's got a weed eater or some sort of little carbureted engine that the diaphragms have gotten old and they've got to where they're no longer flexible. And there's a new thing out. Well, actually, it's not new. They've had it out for 2 years. It's just really not widely known yet. And it's a stainless steel spiral diaphragm with a silicone seal. And the plastic diaphragm can move quite a ways. I mean, that thing can move so much further than a rubber diaphragm. So we're going to test those things, and these were provided by Walbro. I did not purchase these. They wanted me to test them and give them an idea of what I think of them, and we're going to do that. We did get a video demonstration there. I am going to preface that with saying that although we did get a really nice video while we were interviewing Mike Podello, that for some reason with all the lighting I never could get a really good clear movement. But I'm telling you right now, this thing can move many times further than the little diaphragm that comes in the carburetor. So it's not going to move any more than it has to. It's just barely going to be moving when it's running, but it's a possibility that when you hit that little bulb to prime your engine, this thing can take all that prime you put to it, beats anything I've ever seen. So we're going to test that as soon as we find someone that has a carburetor that needs it on one of their machines around here. We're going to then take it apart and then put this in theirs without cleaning the carburetor or anything, just see if that'll make it start and run. And we got this little thing here that holds a credit card on the back of your cell phone. If I had one of them fancy cell phones, let's say it's a cell phone, you put it on there and you can run. You can put a credit card or an ID card or something like that in there. Pretty neat little deal. And from i3, I believe was the name of the company, and I apologize because I don't have their cards out here. Some of my cards was thrown away at the motel. I think the cleaning room people just thought that these were trash because they were pretty bent up. They were in my back pocket all day with a bunch of rundown batteries, so they got beat up pretty badly. And I don't fault him for it. That was my own fault. I shouldn't have left them there on the desk. And so there's a lot of contacts that I lost while we were there. And we made a lot of deals with people to get you an MGM discount. And we want to give those people credit so as we can contact them and get that ball rolling. This is called a mechanic in a bottle. And what this is like a litmus test. Really neat little deal. You can dip it in your gasoline, and it'll tell you if it passes or fails, and it turns colors depending on if it's bad fuel or if it's water. Really neat little deal. We're going to test that. We're going to run some really good gasoline to test that for you. Let's see. I didn't bring back a lot of things. I didn't go over there to get swag, so I didn't get a whole lot of stuff. And I probably should have. We probably could have used it as a giveaway. This little screwdriver I got from Walbro. Guys, I'm keeping this. Just want to show it to you. It does come apart and rotate and go back together. So one end it's Phillips, the other end's flat. I'll need that. So I'll use this in some videos and give Walbro some credit for it. So we'll probably do some giveaways on these caps. Brant has got a torture device here, and I'm not sure exactly where all you can use this, but I guess anything that fit in there you can torture it with these teeth. Pretty neat little deal. And ran into a young fellow over there, Daniel. His company is Triclone Trimmer Heads, and I lied to him. It was unintentional, but I did lie to him, and I told him that I have an Echo trimmer here in the shop, and it is not. It's a steel, and it's a RS56 steel. But I want y'all to look at this massive sucker right here. And these trimmer heads, when you tell them what model you have, they've got these machined adapters here, and they're really neat. I mean, they've got a really strong gear in it, just like spline gear, just like in your machine. And I'm not sure that these are not a little bit heavier. And it has a really nice washer, captured washer nut on here to tighten this up. And the neat thing about these is, now this one's never been out of the box till now, so I guess unboxing is out of the question, isn't it? So you know what, I told you I was going to need this screwdriver. These things operate by centrifugal force, and these steel blades come out, and these things are supposed to cut a tree tree up to 2 inches in diameter, because that's the length of the blade. Now if you did a back cut and did like a chainsaw deal, we might get 3 or 4 inches, and we probably will try it, because if Daniel, if you're watching, I believe you can put below here what I said to you, and that was, I'm going to abuse this product in testing, and he was happy with that, because he wants me to let him know if I find any kind of defects in this thing. And I'm not going to take it down the road and throw it out of a truck or something like that. Maybe. I might. Probably not. Because then it means it's got a machine attached to it, belongs to me. We don't want to do that either. So I'm going to test this thing, and I thought I was going to do it today. And I took apart the really nice little trimmer. And of course, this is set up for an Echo. And I've got a steel in the shop. So as soon as we get that lined out and I get the correct parts to assemble that thing, I'm going to go out into the woods and we'll find me some 2-inch heavy duty stuff, and I'm going to chop it down. Now I'm not sure that a person don't really need to have some riding chaps because this thing is, these are steel blades, and I'm not too concerned about it kicking back on you as I am about all the chips it's going to throw, most likely, because I've got a feeling it's really going to throw some chips, and that's a good thing too. That means it's really doing a good job. So Daniel, and by the way, I've got the spare blades here, and I will show you these when we get everything ready to go on and hooked up on the machine. And it's really simple to replace these things. You've got 3 screws here. Pull the screws out, pull out the old blade, and slide this in and tighten the screws up. So it's very, very simple. And these things fit the majority of the trimmers out there, according to Daniel Lamberto, and I'm looking forward. I do know that we sent one over to Doug Kramer, our engineer, Maxs Garaj Mahal engineer, and Doug's a great fella, very, very knowledgeable, and he took his to the shop and put it on his Craftsman industrial trimmer, and it just fit right on there because he told him he had a Craftsman trimmer. Lo and behold, it worked. I guess Doug is a lot smarter than I am because he told him the right machine. So anyway, by the way, we've got embroidered caps. I wore one of those type of caps at the show. I've got the screen printed caps. I wore one of these at the show. And I actually, by the way, I presented that cap to Doug Kramer, and I forgot to leave it when I Of course, he probably wouldn't want to wear it after my old sweaty noggin, but I did wear his cap at the show. I think it was the last day, maybe. And I want to give a shout out to Lawn Crack. I've got a video that's going to be coming out soon, and Lawn Crack has put up, and he's giving you an MGM discount. So he made a sale site specifically to put that MGM discount in there. And at this point in time, he's on the larger items like his, he has a ride-on sulky that has no wheels, and it also doubles as this goes along the grass and you're standing on it, it lays the grass down so it fits between the tires on either side. So the tires are laying down the grass, the sulky's laying down grass, so you have a full swath. It doesn't leave a little narrow line between the wheels, and that's very interesting. Plus it's retractable, so when you get off of this sulky, it retracts it up underneath the mower, which is pretty neat. It's out of the way. You can work around it and change oil, whatever you need to do. So Lawn Crack, there's your plug. We run into a couple others. I did, and I stayed in the hotel, and it was a Holiday Inn Express, and I'm not sure that really made me that smart, because I kept seeing Grass Daddy, and I think I held the elevator for him twice, maybe 3 times. And he was in the breakfast area a couple of times when we ate. So Grass Daddy, I apologize for not recognizing you. And maybe it's just because you're prettier in person, maybe. I'm not sure. But again, I want to apologize to Grass Daddy. I was chastised just last night, I think it was, for not saying hello and introducing him to one of the other people there at the show. And this is my apology. Doesn't really sound like one, but it really is my apology. And then we run into Terrell and Junior a couple of times, and they're just as funny in person as they are when you watch their videos. So if you haven't seen their videos, you need to go over and see Terrell, Junior, and Slippers. Now I think Slippers was avoiding me, and Terrell was telling me I needed some new shoes. Well, actually, let me take that back, because when you watch the video, that wasn't exactly right. I was saying that that my shoes were pretty good, but I probably looked better in a pair of slippers, and I thought I'd look good in neon green. And he told me that Slippers had gold slippers. Man, I can't afford nothing like that, but to come on by the booth and meet Slippers, and that Slippers had a spare pair of slippers. So I got over there and Slippers wasn't there, and we talked to Terrell and Junior again, and it turns out that Terrell has a really beautiful wife, and they've been married 36 years. I want to give them another congratulations. I did congratulate them in person, and I'm really fairly sure, maybe not 100% certain, but I think she's the smartest one of the bunch, and certainly the best looking. So if you haven't watched any Terrell's videos on how to repair, and I did learn something else from Terrell and Junior, that Briggs & Scranton is still in business, and because he said he's right over there by them. So and as Junior said, for a few more months anyway. So we've got some previews here of some things we're going to do. I just wanted to bring it to you tonight and show you what's coming up. And there's a whole bunch of other things. There's a bunch of things that I'm going to be putting on show on some other videos that is very interesting. Some things that we did several years ago. We designed an arm, an articulating arm that allows you to go along a ditch and allows the lawnmower to go along that ditch. A push mower that you attach to this arm. Well, a gentleman has done that, and I'll put a link to his site on there, so down below, so that you can go to his site. I haven't tested it yet. We did talk about testing it, and if he'll get the thing over here, we'll take the sucker out and find a ditch with some. Matter of fact, I talked to a friend today, asked him how he was doing his ditches still, if he's still doing it by hand with a weed eater and a mower. And he's doing both. And he's like me. He's getting a little long with the tooth. So that will be an excellent place to go out and test along his street and his road. So if we get that in here, we'll do a demonstration as well as a real world test for those people. And hopefully there's several other items coming. By the way, if you can see it over here, Donbar, which is dbmore.com, Donbar has got a bar that mounts to the front deck of your mower that you can get up and down on the mower. Really neat little tool. And I told them I'd be glad to test and review that. We think they're going to send one. We don't really know, but we'll see. And I did make some suggestions because at the time of the show, when we saw it, the handle only turned one direction, so you could mount it. The way it's mounted on that mower, it looked like it would always be mounted. If you're facing the front of the mower, it would be on your left. And there's people that are right-handed, left-handed, ambidextrous. I don't know if that's a clean word or not, but there are people out there like that, you know. So I suggested they put a pull-up trigger on that thing on a detent that will allow that to be turned 180 degrees so that you can use it either way. Also suggested they put a detent at the bottom to allow it to be like a tilt arm or like a tilt steering wheel, so it could get closer to you while you're on the motor if you're trying to get up. So we'll see how that works out. And if we get one of those things, and if Mr. Kramer, if they send one to him, between the two of us, we'll engineer something and send back our ideals so that they might make some sort of improvements, which they really don't need them because the bar works just like it is. But there are always things that you can make it easier for one of us or a whole lot of us that would be better suited to use, and possibly make it easier for the next person that rides that mower. But one thing it does do, if you're getting on and off that thing and it's early in the morning when you first start mowing, when you have dew on the grass, you know, sometimes you start up and that foot that's still on the ground has a tendency to go behind you, and I've heard of people busting their teeth out and messing up their pretty chin and all that stuff. So that was just the reason why we gave them those suggestions. So we appreciate you guys stopping by Max's Garage Mahal. We do have some new merchandise. We are going to be making a bright Hustler yellow. That's really not the actual color, but that's what we're going to call it. Hustler yellow pullover, quarter zip. I believe it has pockets. I don't think it has a hood. We're going to try to get those out pretty soon, as soon as we can tie down how many we're going to need, so we can try to get a nice size bulk order. And we'll probably have them embroidered with, since they're going to be yellow, we'll probably put this Hustler Mower Owner logo on there. And we probably are going to leave the word Hustler out because we all know we have Hustler mowers. And we'll probably just put the Hustler H, the Hustler Mower Owner H. This is not a Hustler H. It's similar, but it's not really at all close. This started out life as a bunch of rectangular boxes intersected that I cut all the centers out of to make our logo, to make it legal. Hustler doesn't have a problem with us using their logo, and I have written permission from their past marketing director to use that, but we don't want to cause any hard feelings ever in the future either. So I made my own logo that's for our Hustler Mower group and all the members. But again, I'm going to go back and bring this mower owner up in the center, and I think it looks a little bit better because it's not quite as congested. So we're going to have that bright yellow wintertime pullover jacket. It's a light jacket, it's not heavy, but if you buy it large enough, you can put something under it, make it comfortable. And I'm not sure yet what it's going to run, but I'm afraid it's probably going to run somewhere around $49. Hopefully, if we can get enough of them bought and get enough of it done and get enough sold, pre-sold, then we should be able, I hope, to get it down into the $30-something bracket. But again, we appreciate you coming by. We want to thank Mass Depot, Fuel Works. We did, by the way, I want to give Tim Hooper and Scott Stober a shout out at Fuel Works. We did run into them. They did a fantastic demonstration. I've already put that up. And I want to give a shout out to Cooper Stover. Cooper, thank you very kindly for all the kind words. And Cooper is 13 years old and already a businessman. And I appreciate the man's, Mr. Cooper's tenacity of wanting to go forward and make something of himself. So Cooper, there's your shout out. And everybody, y'all come back now to see me at Max's Garage Mahal. You hear?